Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Funding the Mission walkthrough. We're really glad that you have joined us for the day. And today's main goal is to give you the ability to navigate our Funding the Mission portal so that you can be adequately prepared for the next church year as we begin to make payments for our budgets in the new church year. Now, Funding the Mission came about by the decision of the district advisory board. And it was really nice for them to make that decision. And now I get to be the face of Funding the Mission. It's very nice of them to do that. No, I kid. But Funding the Mission is really simple. It's a website that helps you determine what you owe to each budget, and you can pay those particular budgets right from that website. And so today's goal is just to walk you through all of the steps and procedures that you will have to get onto Funding the Mission and to use Funding the Mission as well. I'm going to share my desktop now with everybody on Zoom, and we'll get going here. Hello, there we go. I lost my cursor. Where'd it go, friends? There it is. All right, this is Funding the Mission. ftm.nazarene.org is the website. Bookmark it. You will be utilizing it from now on. A number of you asked if you've had a particular login. You will know if you have a login if you have received an email from stewardship@nazarene.org. The only way that you can get a login to this website is by emailing me and letting me know that you are to be a representative for your church. To help the onboarding process, I took all of our APR representatives. So if you are an APR, if you have an APR login, the annual pastors report, you automatically can log into this website now with those credentials. So all pastors here, you all can get into this already. Use the same exact credentials that you have. If your treasurer or your admin or whoever might be tasked with paying budgets does not have a login, you have to let me know, and I will get it set up. You'll be sent an email, and then you can log in for the very first time. My email address is matts@emd.org. matts@emdnaz.org. Now, all those details came to you whenever I sent out the initial email about Funding the Mission. There's also some a link to tutorial videos in that email as well. So there are plenty of ways to learn this website, not just attending this presentation. But it's a fairly self-explanatory website as we go along. So we're gonna start. We're gonna go into the website and things like that. You're gonna see me log in and everything. I will stop after a certain amount to offer up a time for questions and answers. So keep that in mind as we go along. Also, if you're joining on Zoom, share your question in the chat as soon as you have it, and I will address it whenever we get to the Q&A portion. So ftm.nazarene.org. Now, to secure login, I'm gonna log in right here. I have my credentials saved. I'm gonna just share with you. Utilize your browser autofill. It helps things go along really quickly. And we'll wait for the website to go. Now, in this moment, you're going to notice something. It's going to essentially say, we don't know this browser. This is not the typical browser that I logged into Funding the Mission on. And so it has the option of two-step verification. The reason why this website has two-step verification is that there is financial payment information saved to your profile. So when you do log in, or when you get that first email to set up an account, I encourage you to have your email or have your phone number on hand so that you can do two-step verification. And that just adds an extra level of security for whether it be your checking account information that you're paying from or the credit card information that you're paying from. So I'm going to do a text. That's generally the fastest way to get a code here. And there it is. Somebody else do this. When you log in to Funding the Mission, this will be your home screen. There are a number of boxes that show where you are at in your giving to each particular budget. Now, I'm going to do a few clicks here because I have a district account. I have a few more options than what you will have on the church level. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put Monroe's numbers, the church where I pastor, in front of everybody. So complete transparency on where Monroe is and their giving to all of the different budgets. So let me change that here for a moment. And there we are. So now we are officially with my local church, Monroe. Now in these different boxes, you're going to see a number of different numbers. Total church income, that is the reported income that our church has reported to Funding the Mission to this point. World Evangelism Fund, it will show us exactly how much we have given, how much of that goal we have achieved, and how much we owe to meet the goal that we need to do. Same thing with benefits, education, which would be our giving to Olivet, and our district. And again, you can see that not all of our bars are all the way up, so we still have some giving, either to give or it needs to be processed still. And then down below, there's actually a recognition piece too, as to whether or not you are meeting the 10% goal and the Church of Excellence, that the World Evangelism Church of Excellence goal that NMI often brings up at our NMI conventions. Now, from the get-go, you're thinking to yourself, there's 4 funds. Yes, over the past however many years that you have ministered here at EMD, you have been sending one check to the district office equal to about 14% of your church income. And Kristen, our treasurer, has done a wonderful, beautiful job taking those checks, processing, figuring out how much of that needs to go to each fund, and then paying WEF, benefits, all of that, and then the district. She has done a lot of work for a lot of years. And I think one of the reasons why the DAB, and Dr. Mike might be able to speak to this a little bit, moved to this is to not only give Kristen a little bit of reprieve in the amount of work that she has, but also when you are only giving one check and yet it's going to 4 different entities, you become a little detached from what you are giving. And when you're detached from what you are giving, you don't have as much of an appreciation for those different budgets. And so real quickly, I'll just share with you a little bit of what each of these budgets and what they do. So our World Evangelism Fund, 5.5% of your church income is to go to World Evangelism Fund. World Evangelism Fund legitimately goes around the world. It helps us continue to create new areas where our missionaries can move into the world. But it also does a number of, it takes care of our Board of General Superintendents, our General Secretary, our different services that we have out in Kansas City. World Evangelism Fund is necessary for us to have even this website and all the different things that we have to do in ministry on a global scale. Because we're in the United States and we do not have a universal pension, we're tasked with saving for our own retirement. Nazarene Benefits USA helps United States pastors save for retirement. 2% of our church income goes to Nazarene Benefits. Now, what does Nazarene Benefits provide? It provides 403Bs for full-time ministers. It provides debt relief assistance for some of our full-time ministers. And it even provides a fairly minimal life insurance policy for our ministers. If your church gives to benefits, they have a number of tiers of those benefits that's provided back to the pastor that serves at your local church. So it is a very essential thing. I will share as being a 38-year-old and never having the benefit of having the pensions that benefits used to do, the benefits keep getting better. They are starting to match what I put into my 403B for retirement up to a certain amount. It's a really wonderful thing. So Nazarene Benefits is essential for the livelihoods of our pastors beyond their ministry days. Education. One of the key pieces of our Nazarene polity, it was to create higher institutions of higher education for not only people in the Church of the Nazarene, but for anybody willing to undergo a Christian education. Our regional university is Olivet, and so 2.5% of our local church income goes to Olivet. And lastly, our district. Our district from, here that exists geographically is all of our different churches coming together, and the district offers so many different things for us, but I think one of the biggest pieces is the support of our district staff, our district superintendent, all the things that he does for our churches in transition, all the things that is necessary. Think about our family camp. Our family camp is so fantastic every single year. And the other part about our district that's unique compared to other districts is we're a unified district. Your 4% not only funds the district office, it also funds our district NYI. It helps fund our district NDI and NMI as well. So we are a unified. 4% of our church income goes to the things. That is what has made up your 14% over the past few years. Now, you are tasked with paying those 4 entities yourself instead of allowing the district office to do that. Any questions on the funds, all of those, anything that I've shared in this moment? We'll get into the website piece.
So the benefit, I just got a quick question. Benefits is 2%?
Yes.
Education is 2.5, not 2.25, 2.25.
The question for everybody on Zoom, the question was in regards to percentages again. Benefits is 2%, all of it is 2.5%. That is correct.
Thank you.
That changed last year, actually.
Okay.
It used to be 2.25 for both equally, and then it shifted last year.
Okay.
It makes sense to reduce them.
Sure.
Actually, the incredible thing is that they brought down what we owe to benefits, but our benefits went up. That's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Oh, somebody else joined us. All right.
So one more real quick question. So when we first log into this, is our current year gonna show up all that?
Yes. Yes. The question is, when you first log in, are you seeing the numbers from the current year? Yes, that is the case. Now, right here, you can actually change your assembly year right now. If you even want to go back and look at different numbers from years past and things. The thing about funding the mission is The information for World Evangelism Fund and benefits is populated by Kansas City. So you actually, right now, whenever you log into Funding the Mission, you can go back to previous assembly years and see what you gave to World Evangelism Fund and Nazarene benefits. The district and all of that has not been populating that information over the past few years. So if you were to look at last year's, you will not see your giving for the district or for all of that. And even right now, you will not see any of your giving for all of it or the district, because Kristen is still very much in the old way of doing everything, receiving your 14% checks and everything like that. The only reason Monroe has been updated to show our giving for this year is I asked her to do that for your sakes, so that you can see it, and so that you can see it as it goes through next year. All right. Let me check the chat real quick. Doesn't look like there's any questions. Very nice. All right. We are moving on. Now, for everything in Funding the Mission is based upon your reported income. In other words, you have brought in offerings, you have brought in all of the different monies, maybe through the last month or from the last week. You can populate it as often as you want. It is up to you and what the frequency of updating Funding the Mission is going to be. So to update your income, you're going to press the nice little pencil right here. Now, again, we're looking at Monroe right now. And right here, you can see that we have reported $255,127 and a few cents, okay? Before I show you how to report income, I'm gonna go down the screen so that you can see something real quick. The history of reported income is actually on the bottom of the screen. And if you've got good eyes right now, you'll see that I initially reported income for Monroe last May, just for the fun of it. I don't know why I did it. And then in January, I reported it. And then just recently at the end of January, my admin who pays our different budgets and things, she went in and she recently updated our income. So that actually shows you the history for the current year of when income was reported. Up here is where you do report that income. You have actually two options. Say you haven't been in Funding the Mission for a while. You can do one large lump report of income saying, okay, we haven't done this in 6 months. We've brought in $70,000. You can click total. Sure, there, yeah. Total year-to-date income right there. And you would type in $70,000. And then you would hit submit. Now, if you're a person who is really proactive, maybe you're doing this once a month, and you're just going to add to your total every single month of things. The second button here is more appropriate. Add to the year-to-date total. And that's, of course, what we will do here next week at the end of our year, because our last bit of offering will come in by next Wednesday locally at Monroe, and that will be the moment that we report. Now, when you report that income, all of the goals change on Funding the Mission, so you know exactly what you need to pay to get to the 5.5%, the 2%, the 2.5%, the 4%. That's how you can do it. Now, some of you might use Nazarene Treasury System. That actually has something built into it where it shows you what you owe already. But I understand that there's a number of treasurers that like to use QuickBooks or other accounting software. This sort of makes it as easy as possible when you report your income. It also tells the district what we're going to expect, and it also tells Kansas City what to expect. The other nice part about this too is that Funding the Mission is connected to the APR. So some of the numbers that are populated on Funding the Mission will show up in your annual pastor's report. Okay? What happens if you make a mistake?
Instead of 70,000, we make 7 million.
There is, first of all, you're not gonna make any mistakes. Nobody here is gonna make mistakes when they're reporting income. Nobody has ever accidentally put 7 million in instead of 70,000, right? Actually, I think that happened on a few annual pastor reports last year. There were a few, like, wow, our churches are bringing in some great offerings. If you make a mistake, there's actually instructions right here. What's right below that yellow button right there? That tells you how to do it. I'm not gonna go through that. You guys can read, I presume, right? Anybody? Oh, that's actually a good moment to share with you about something. On the left side here, if English is not your first language, you function better in maybe Spanish or French, you can actually hit select language, and this will be translated into either Spanish or French if that is your more primary language. Okay. All right. So as I shared with you, when you report income, that is how it determines what your goal is for all of the different funds that you have here. Okay. Now, the biggest question is, how do we start giving? How do we start giving to these different things? Well, we're going to actually go through that entire process in a moment. But before we do that, I want to show you where you add your credit card information or your bank account information. Okay. You add your bank account or your credit card information by clicking this nice little $sign. And here you will see add AC or add CC card or add ACH. ACH is taking the routing number and the account number straight from your bank account, and they do a debit from your checking account. Credit card is credit card, okay? I put in my credit card just so you can see that I had one saved on here. I'm going to say this a number of times today. Transaction fees on credit cards are more than bank debit through ACH. If you want more of your money to go further in all of the different funds, I encourage you to use ACH instead of credit cards, okay? That's just something to consider as we go on. Yes, Vince.
I do have a question. When you put your income in the system, does it automatically draft your church account, or do you get to control and say, yes, pay?
Okay, the question is, once you put in your income, does it automatically pull the funds? You actually have to confirm and pay. You're the one who actually has to press pay for you to pay any of these things. So it's not an automatic thing. Would you want that?
No.
No, okay, thank you.
Yeah. That's where you do automatic 5.
So that's a great question, and we're about to work through what it's like to give to each of the budgets here in just a second. One other thing before we move on, anytime that you see these logos right here, this is a PDF logo. I don't know what that logo is. That's Excel and that's a CSV. Anything that that can populate a report, you can download those particular things to your computer. So anytime that you see those near, like, say, for example, your reported income, you can download a chart of your reported income. On the next page where we're about to show you contributions, you can download the CSV or the Excel or whatever it might be so that you can have a readout, this copy for your church records anytime. So anytime you see that, that is an option for you. Okay. So you've added in your payment information. It's great. It's wonderful. We're going to go now to how we actually pay these particular contributions. You go to the gift and you'll see that contributions comes up. And here we are. Now, there are a number of boxes on here that will not be on your interface. Do not freak out if you do not have 7 boxes here. You will only have 5. Okay. Again, I have a district account. We have a few extra things that we can do on the district. So here you will find again, the previous updates for each of the accounts and things of that nature. These yellow buttons or orange, I guess. What is it to everybody? Is it orange or yellow?
Orange, peach.
My wife and I argue about colors all the time. It's a great time.
Peach.
The boxes. Those are your action buttons as to where you will actually pay. Down below, you will see your entire history of gifts. And not only the gifts that you and your church have given, but also if somebody within your church is giving to a particular mission project, you will see their giving here too. And when I say mission project, we have, I make sure everybody knows this, we have approved mission specials in the Church of the Nazarene. And you will see anybody that gives to approved mission specials down below. It's quite cool. It's really wonderful. We have an amazing saint. She lives in Florida. She sends in her tithe check faithfully, but she's also giving to I believe an adoption and Compassionate Ministries adoption project as well. And that shows up all the time, things like that. So if there's ever a payment that hasn't been posted, you're like, that should be there. This is where you will check it out to make sure that you are up to date. So how do we pay? These 5 boxes are how you can pay. I will share this with you. You can still, if you really want to, if you want to write out 3 paper checks, put them into 3 separate envelopes, stamp 3 separate envelopes, and send them to the entities, you can still do that. Okay? If you're terrified of paying through this portal, you can still do that. That option is right here. It says mail GT, I think it's S. Yeah, mail that. It will actually print out a form that you can write on it on what you're paying and where this particular numbers are going. Global Treasury handles WEF and Nazarene benefits. So you can technically send 1 check for those 2 payments. And you can also do the mail thing for the district. I'm going to encourage you, and I think Kristen will encourage you, and Kina will encourage you, and Dr. Mike's going to encourage you, use the online portal. It's a lot easier. You just do this. This takes about maybe 5 to 15 minutes every month, and it goes quite quickly. You'll see here in just a second. So earlier, we found out that we are not up to date on our WEF, okay? Down below here, it actually shows us what we need for WEF and what we need for benefits. So I'm going to use those numbers as we pay those particular funds in this moment. So to begin to pay, you click the fund, the evangelism fund. And because my viewing angle is not great, I'm just going to copy and paste. And we're going to add. Now you're going to say, what happened? Down below here, you will see the contribution summary. Right now, I have now applied a $1,173.70 payment to World Evangelism Fund. But I also want to do my benefits in this payment as well. So I'll come down here and grab this number here. Pull the fund, Nazarene Benefits USA. That number in there. Oh, look, warning, the total has been changed. It's very nice. It tells you that the total is no longer just 1,173. It's 1,173 plus the 452. Again, you will see the contribution summary right down there. Now, how many of you had an alabaster offering in the past few weeks? No, thank you very much. Glad. We received an alabaster offering this past week. You can pay alabaster alongside these other 2 funds. Simply go right up here and go to, is that search? Yeah, search for other projects.
Wow.
And you can type in alabaster. And there's a number of different projects that you will find. And I found Alabaster just fine. And we will do, I don't remember exactly what we received, so $450. So now the mission project of Alabaster, our benefits and our rural evangelism payment is all lumped into this one transaction that's going to go to Kansas City. See how much nicer this is?
Can you do deputation?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can do deputation. No longer do you need to have one of those very awkward moments where the missionaries are like, you shouldn't give me this money, send it to Kansas City. This is where you can do it, right from the get-go here, okay? And again, there's a number of mission projects here. Compassion Ministries mission project, deputation, mission project. All of the already approved projects are in the database. So if you don't see it there first, search for it, type it, and it will come up with the different things of what's already approved, okay?
With the deputation, is there a spot where you can put in the name of who it goes to? Just
I presume so. The question is, if you do deputation, can you put the name? Yeah, right there, missionary name right there.
okay.
You put the missionary name right there. So we'll just go, Maya. You're from our church, we're very. And we're sending $1,000 to the deputation. I did 10,000?
I think so.
All right, yeah. I love that one.
Okay. Looks like we didn't work through it, but anyways. So once you add all of the payments that you are doing, okay? You will see all of it in the summary over here. And then right here, you'll just simply say proceed to giving. And then it will make sure, it will ask you, hey, where do you want this coming from? Do you want this from your credit card? Do you want this from your bank draft? All of those pieces. I only have one spot there. And then you can, if you're one of those people that's saying, oh, the rest of the offering's coming in next week or something like that, you can actually take a forward date as well if you want to post on a different day than just today. You can click that right there. And then you hit give now. How many entities have we paid in this moment? Technically just 2 right now, right?
Mhm.
All of that and the district is on separate websites. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So are there any questions though about this main giving page? All of these offerings and things like that are the offerings that go to Kansas City and they process. Okay, any questions?
That option doesn't come up until you put it in your bank.
Yeah. Correct. Yes.
Matt, if we do this weekly, like we've been doing it at our church. So we would put in the total income. Do we still consider doing the 5 point whatever, 2 point whatever for each individual one? Does it come up that way, or how do we do that on a weekly basis if we want to continue to make sure we're paying our budgets accurately?
Okay. The question is, church does this weekly. Every single time that you put in your income, your new goal will be shown as soon as you put that income in. So if you put in your income weekly, that new goal will be apparent immediately on the website. Okay. You don't have to pay it immediately, but if that's how you want to go, I would suggest monthly, but I mean, but some people like to be in there weekly and pay it weekly. So
The goal, like we've been rounding up, so we're paying more actually than we need to. Can we round up in that? We can just put the amount in we want to give.
question is, can you overgive or round up? We are the Church of the Nazarene. We are always overgive. So yeah, you can actually, I just copied and pasted just to be very quick here in this moment. If say you have a faith promise and that faith promise goes straight to WEF and that's all that it goes to, and you're always a 10% church, give what has come in for faith promise, and yeah, you can overgive all the time. So Absolutely. Any other questions? Not seeing any in the chat. All right. Now, the question will be, how do we pay all of that in the district? We're gonna go back to, again, the gift is where all of these links are found. And again, earlier we clicked the GTS. We have district here and we have EDU here. These are going to take you to separate websites, okay? And the reason why this is set up in this manner is not every single university has a payment portal. When I lived in East Ohio, we actually paid the district, our district and our Mount Vernon requirements, and then that treasurer dispersed those payments, but we could pay it through funding the mission. All of that has set up a payment portal to give, so you can pay them directly. And then our district portal, you're gonna about to see here in 1 second. So I'm gonna start with all of that real quick. If you click the all of that piece, there you go. It'll open it up in a new tab. And here you are. You have reached Illinois. It's an urban name. Midwestern names of cities that look French but may not be French. I don't know. It's quite simple. You hit give now, and this is where you begin to work through the process of giving. Now, you're going to have to look at what you have already given on funding the mission to determine what you need to give to get to where you need to be. And let me just go ahead and share with you that all of that numbers on funding the mission will only be updated once a month. Because all of that is only going to be reporting back to Kristen to update funding the mission once a month.
Yeah.
So understand that if you get in, like if you're doing things weekly and it's the third week of the month, and you're like, where's all of that payment from last month? Very likely it will be applied to your account at the end of the month whenever all of that informs Kristen of all the payments. Okay. So say, for example, it's a fairly simple interface here. Put in your amount, education fund. Hey, look, it makes sure that you're applying it to the correct church budget year. Praise the Lord, right? How many times of us have been calling in, wait, this payment was applied to this year when I meant it for this year. This puts it all in your hands to make sure that you're getting it in the right budget year. Your church name, and then phone number, name, all of the things so that you can correctly pay. Now, I'm going to share this with you here real quick, okay? You're going to see Venmo and PayPal or go to checkout, okay? I don't know why they put Venmo and PayPal up there like that, but if you have those things and you want to pay, that's a simple way of doing that.
That's right.
I will tell you again, transaction fees are more expensive if you use other services like credit cards, Venmo, PayPal. Your lowest transaction fees are going to be ACH debit, and you will have to hit go to checkout to get to the ACH debit piece. I am also required to ask or to share with you that all of that would like you to pay your transaction fees by clicking this nice little button right there. They would like you to do that, but understand what you give, you're still being credited for what you give. It's just whether or not you've paid over to take care of those fees or not. So understand that your requirement is not what you're owed plus fees. It's what you owe, okay? All of that will either eat the cost or appreciate your generosity to take care of those fees, okay?
Do you report that you contributed more? Let's say your band's $100, So if you say $103.
The $103 will post as a gift, yes.
Well, that's 24 hours and 48 cents, would that be on the?
It should. I mean, that's how. I mean, when it comes to the end of giving, whenever people give to our church online and there's transaction fees, we give them credit for the gross, not the net. So even though we got less of their offering because of the transaction fees, we still credit them for what they actually gave. Okay. So you will go through this entire piece. I will tell you this. If you do the ACH, understand that you can pay it, but they are going to, the first time you ever do it, they're going to ask for you to confirm that this is indeed your checking account, and they will do the whole deposit, like a cent deposit, and then debit it, and then they will know that it is a trusted source for that bank account information. So understand that if you do ACH, they're going to go through the verification process with you. Same thing for the district as well. Stripe, which is our processor, will ask that same thing. Should only happen once. Okay.
We have a question in the chat.
When I host all of that students, should I include the special donation in our budget? That is a great question that I am not exactly sure how to answer, Belinda. I believe generally, let's see here if we can, that's my cursor again, there we go. If you come up here to I would say to that question, if you host all of that students and there's a special donation, do not include it in your budget amount. Pay them separately. Talk to, I believe Ann Whalen is particularly in charge of all of that students that come to churches and things like that. She will either give you another payment portal to offer that, or you can send it to them via mail. So.
And then Brian.
Yeah, I forgot it. So the treasurer is going to have to calculate 2.5% each month based on the monthly income. No, actually, Brian, if you come back here to your funding the mission, if you're reporting income, it's going to share with you what you need to pay to all of that to get to the goal that you have. It's based on your reporting income. So that's what we should be, that's what we have given. And that shows us where we're the goal, and this will show you how much we owe to get it met. So you do not actually have to do that. FTM will do it for you. Any other questions in regards? Oh, I got to show you the other East Ohio or East Ohio. I've been in two Eastern districts. Sometimes it just slips out. I apologize. I apologize to you Wolverines. I know, Buckeyes. Our district portal looks like this. If you're a pastor, you're very familiar with this. If you're logged into our district toolbox, your name, your email, and your church will automatically populate, just so you know. But I'll take you through this process a little bit. Doesn't really matter if I mistype or not. No, I went by. No, okay. So say we owe $1,000 to the district. Put it in 1,000. Designation. This is where you choose your assembly here. We made that as an option as well. And we also have, if you would like to cover the processing fee, you can do so. If you hit card, the processing fee will show you that it's a little bit more money. If you do ACH, it comes down in price there. It's continue. Did I do something wrong?
It's not that.
No, Matt,
We also still pass you on.
that's fine, I'm not actually doing something, just showing. When you hit continue, it will take you to our merchant. And because I selected ACH is going to show up here and ask for these same things. This is why I told you turn on your autofill on your browser. You do this, it will go a little bit faster. If you have a big bank, if you bank with a big bank like Chase, Bank of America, Navy Federal, USAA, Wells Fargo, all those different pieces, okay? The most secure way to pay is by logging into your online account with those big banks. And that's what you do here in this moment. If you're like us and we have a credit union as a church, you're not going to show up here. So right beneath all the big banks, you'll see a link that allows you to type in your routing number and your account number just fresh right there. So after that's all done, you hit pay, and you've paid your district. And then Kristen will update FTM as soon as she's able to process it. We can make a decision as to how often she'd be updating the district numbers. It will probably be similar to all of that, probably be once a month. So
There's some questions, Chair.
all right. Question, should we see year-to-date education giving on the portal? Our church is showing $0. For right now, because we are still operating under the old ways of doing things, again, your district and your education will not show up on funding the mission for the current assembly. Okay, so Leon, you've given, but it's not showing because Kristen is not updating that yet. Rich Evans asked, if we notice an area that is currently empty and we've been sending in payments for all budget requirements, how do we check and ensure? Yes. So that would be a same. What just happened here? Can you see mine here? No. Rich said question answered. Got it. Thank you. Would you please repeat how I designate on the EMD site? Sure. Go back here. You click through again right here to district. Put in your name and your designation is right here next to the amount to designate which assembly year that you are paying for. This form also might be opened up to other ways to give, but we're just keeping it right now for these payments. So if you come in, if you log in and you see another designation, where did that come from? It's because we're opening it up. But for right now. Okay. Any other questions?
When it first loads into Omvex or EMDs, they have to type in the routing number every time. Like the ONU portal.
The question is, do you have to type in the routing number every single time to all of that in the district? I don't know the answer to that yet because I haven't done it twice, but I have a feeling yes. Because in particular, to save those routing numbers would mean to create a profile, and those profiles aren't in there. So
You go back to all of that and like if we use Chase Bank,
yeah,
how do you
Log in.
log in? You log into Chase to pay.
so it's
So how's that?
gonna require me to fill out everything so you can see the next
Okay.
page.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See where I live now, y'all.
Ooh,
I'm sticking.
oh, yeah. Hmm.
So just so you know, if you're on Zoom right now, I am finishing out this so you can see the next page and what it looks like whenever you pay. Check out So again, we were gonna pay $765. There's the processing fees on there. And we are doing, there's pay with credit debit card where you can fill it out right there. Or you can hit pay with bank transfer. It's gonna ask you for instant verification. That's the login with your bank.
Mhm.
You won't have to do the 1 cent verification if you bank with a big bank and do instant verification. Oh, there was a pop-up or something like that. It's gonna ask you a bunch of different pieces. So there you have it right there. That's where it begins to show up. And maybe that's, if you do bank with a big bank and you log in, that actually might be easier than typing in the routing number and account number every single time.
And that's for the verification
Well, but also to pay as well, yeah.
and also the pay.
Yeah.
Well, then once we log into the Chase Bank, it'll automatically populate the stuff over to the Olivet. What?
Yeah, like you would have to, you will not, if you log into your bank, say Chase. Basically, it's using your login credentials to share the account information with all of it, so you will not indeed type it in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it'll write it over
Mhm.
from Chase. Not your-
So again, when you pay these things, there will be a delay for it to populate on funding the mission. It's not gonna be, oh, I just paid my $765 and then you're going back to funding the mission to see the thing go up. It's not gonna happen. All of that has to report to Kristen, and then Kristen will put in that information at the end of the month. Yeah.
Panama has a goal, one of the goals for giving is the Church of Excellence Award, which is the 0.2% or 1,500.
Mhm.
Is there a spot for that?
Question is, can you see the status of your Church of Excellence, basically? Yes, on the very first page under home, if you come down here to recognitions, it will show the World Evangelism Church of Excellence and whether or not you have met it. And it will show you how much money you need to give in order to meet it.
Okay.
So it's right down here. Okay. You have now made it through the majority of things that you will do on funding the mission. Okay? Are there any other questions about how to pay, the different entities, all those things? Yeah.
Who's on chat?
Huh?
Who's the question on chat?
Oh, I'll get to it. Thank you. I have it right in front of me. I'll get it. I may be missing something. You answered my question by paying the remaining amount to our goal, but if we were paying monthly, I think we will have to calculate the percent. You will not, Ryan. You won't have to personally calculate it. If you report your income, your goal will be calculated on funding the mission automatically for you. That's why they did it this way.
That would be on including the district of educational.
Exactly, yep. Yeah, in fact, you can see down below, even though it may not be populated. Say you go into funding the mission right after this today, and you say, we brought in $150,000. Your goals will immediately change, even though it won't show what you have given to all of that or the district yet. All right. Now I'm going to share with you the extra stuff. And the reason why they have these extra things is there are sometimes mission projects that are not either fully approved or they're temporary projects. And you have given to that and you would like to receive credit as a church for it. That is what we call point-to-point giving. And that is this nice little arrow back and forth here. But here, just a little bit. Point-to-point request is a way for your church to tell the general treasurer that your church gave money directly to a Nazarene approved mission project in the United States that has been designated as a 10% project without sending the money through the general treasurer's office first. Some good examples of that. If you receive an offering for the seminary, if you receive an offering for World Broadcast, or if you receive an offering for Nazarene Bible College. You send that money straight to that entity. And whenever you do that, you can go to point and share what you sent to those people. And then it lets the general treasurers notice about it. And then it goes into your approved 10% total for the entire year. So that is where you would add some of those extra offerings that are approved as mission specials.
So that's like a recording, it could be not a sending.
Yeah, they will, yeah, exactly. It's a recording thing and they will double check and they will approve your request and have that attached to your record. Okay. So that's what point-to-point giving is. And you can go through that. Another nice feature of funding the mission is that we're all getting to the beginning of a new church year, right? And you're working through your church budgets for the new 25-26 year, correct? It has a planning what if calculator so that you can put into your budget how much to expect to pay each entity based on what you're planning to receive over the next year. So for example, if you're planning to receive $120,000 in income over the next year, now you have the numbers to put in your budget, how much of that is going to go to global missions, how much of that's going to go to benefits, how much of that's going to go to all of that, how much of that's going to go to the district. And you can put that right in your line item, so you know where your giving is going to go. So that's a nice little tool for you. And last but not least is the ability to download reports. That is what this icon here, the papers are. And then if you have this left bar open, statement will also take you to the same spot. If you want to keep track of all of the things that you have given in a nice fancy file folder in your church office, this is where you can click, print it out, and have a physical copy. And anybody want to guess what the question mark is for?
Oh.
Help, that's right. Yes, very nice. So if at any point you forgot what I just shared with you today, or you're like, wait, where is that particular thing? Press the question mark, okay? If you press the question mark, it will send you to a number of resources, including step-by-step. You asked about step-by-step things. If you click the PDF part here, they will have a step-by-step piece on a PDF where you can download and to see what to do next with that particular piece. That's so nice.
Is your cell phone on here?
No, that's
No,
intentional.
this piece of paper right here.
So let me share, the reason why I want to show that website to you is this. If you call myself, or you call Kristen, or you call Keena about asking help for funding the mission, our first question is going to be, did you click the question mark? And if you say no, we're going to hang up very, very No, I kid. But truly, try to. It's like what I tell new couples going into marriage. Going through conflict actually helps you learn something and grow closer with your spouse. If you want to grow closer with funding the mission and to be able to use it better, it will be better for you to read and figure it out by yourself instead of being led through the whole piece. But if you need me, I'm here. I am here for you. There's also a number of phone numbers on the bottom as well for contact if there's a Kansas City problem that you need to talk through with them. They are very great. They're some of the nicest people in the world, far nicer than me. So maybe you want to talk to them instead if you need help. But that's there. That's funding the mission. Are there any other questions that I might be able to facilitate here before we let all of the Zoom folks go?
Where have you been all my life?
No,
This is wonderful.
Do you see the benefit of having this? It might, like, as you go through it, you might think, oh, this is a few more steps to the giving process that we've had for all these years. And yet at the same time, you are now more connected to our church, the Nazarene entities, than you have before. I would encourage you not to over spiritualize it, but this is still giving.
Yeah.
This is, I've always seen these gifts as tithe. I tithe personally to our church. Our church personally tithes in this way so that pastors can be provided for, so that our district can continue to have the great quality leadership and programs that we have, and that we can continue to grow around the world. So not to over spiritualize it, but as you give, if you're the person giving, it's not a bad idea maybe in that moment just to say a prayer over those monies that are going out, just like we do on Sunday mornings for the offerings that we receive. But this will help you feel more connected to our denomination. Next question. I did get a question. Do we start with entering after March 1st? Here's the good news. You can technically pay everything for your February today, if you so desire. If you have access to funding the mission, I actually encourage you to pay all of these different budgets for the last payment of this year here, just so that you're getting into the practice of doing it. And it also gives Kristen and Keena and myself some practice when everybody joins in March. Okay, so I encourage you, if you have access to funding mission, pay your February budgets via this, just to get used to it. Also, here's another small thing. Okay. If you pay via funding the mission, the payments will show up on your annual pastor's report a lot faster. If you send, I just want you to know, okay, if you send a physical check to Kristen, Kristen has to cash that check. She has to determine how much money goes to each thing. Then she has to cut checks to all of the entities. Then she must send via snail mail to those entities to pay that, and then they have to process it. We were going through Monroe's giving just the other day, and there was a payment to Kansas City for WEF. The reason why we are not all the way up on WEF right now is because Kansas City still hasn't processed one of our checks from a month ago. That's why APR has been so difficult over these past years, because we were waiting for mail to get to Flint and mail to get to Kansas City and Kansas City to open their mail. This will, if you do it via this, the numbers will come across your APR much quicker than you would otherwise. So, any other questions before we go? For the education piece, will our February payment be reviewed and received before the APR and NMI reports are due? We will, thank you for that question, Michelle. We will try to request the report from all of that a number of times in the beginning of March, so that those will be properly assessed and things like that. So to answer that question, we'll bug them a little bit. And if Kristen doesn't want to bug him, I'm really good at bugging people. Right? This is why you had me get into this position, right? Like, yeah, thank you very much. All right. Well, if that's everything, thank you so much if you joined us on Zoom. I hope that this was a blessing. Have a great day over there. And for everybody here, you can stay as long as you'd like to start getting on, and we can do some hands-on work together. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you for being very kind on there. Thank you so much. Have a great.